We are back with Daily Race C at Watkins Glen in the Group 1 cars. Now we've got all of the new hypercars to choose from and the old Toyota, which does seem to be the meta here this week. Now this is quite a good race. I prefer this to the Le Mans race because you've got a smaller track, closer racing, and I think it's just a little bit more fun. Now we've got L. Burton here in the Toyota, the Meta, with a 127.875, and if you do like these videos, please like, subscribe, turn your notifications on, and comment your times so we can see how we are all improving. Now as we go down the first straight here, we want to be braking just after the barrier step change there on the left hand side and just before the 200 meter board. Now you want to be getting full brakes on here. You want to get to second gear for the rotation and be in fourth gear just as you get back on the power when you hit that apex at 95 miles an hour. You want to be careful that you don't hit the bump just on the inside of that corner because it can really throw you off and it will induce understeer and force you to the edge of the track where you might just get a penalty. Now coming down the track here, we want to be braking just before this marshal stand on the left hand side. It's just after that break in the barrier and it's just before I think the 200 meter board. Yep. And we want to get fifth gear, and as we clip that right hand corner we want to be at 159. We're holding quite high in the 140s as we go through there, and then as we come around this corner here we want to be in fourth gear at 122 miles an hour. Now I must stress you want to keep it in fifth gear as you enter the bus stop and the chicane there. It does help. Now as we come down the hill here, we do want to be braking just before that 200 meter board, about a car and a half's length, car's length before it. We want to get down into second gear for the rotation and then be exiting in fourth gear. You want to really short shift up, exit in fourth gear, and make sure you don't go off the edge of the track. Now here we want to be braking just after the Gran Turismo sign on the left. It's the second one of the three. It's just after the 200 meter board, and we want to get down to second gear. Again, you want to exit in third. We're going about 78 miles an hour at the slowest speed on this apex, but we want to be getting up into third and potentially quickly up into fourth to save your tyres and also keep your traction, because if you put the power down in third you will lose the back end of the car, especially on that corner. Now here we want to be braking just after or just in line with the 200 meter board. We want to be getting down to second gear, again shifting up quickly to fourth gear, and we're at about 80 miles an hour as we hit the corner. Again, that's a little bit of a tricky area for penalties because you can get them on the exit there. But here we're braking just after the 200 meter board, about a car's length after the 200 meter board. Again, getting down into second gear, short shifting short up shifting up to third gear, and we're at about 72 miles an hour here. You might want to shift up to fourth gear earlier in the race so that you can make sure you don't spin out, basically. That little corner there, you just have to lift ever so slightly to get around that corner. I think you want to be about 139 miles an hour. I did put it in the cheat sheet, but here you're braking just before that tyre barrier ends on the left hand side, and we're getting into fourth gear, exiting in fifth, and we're at about 115 miles an hour for the apex on that one. Now that's a 127.875 from Lewis Burton there, and I think that is still in the top three at the moment actually. Now here is the cheat sheet. You can use that. I've added in turn 10 there, so it's 139 miles an hour in fifth gear on that second to last corner. Now I do just want to talk about the race strategy here. You've got racing mediums and racing soft tyres that do need to be used, so you do need to make a pit stop. And the main strategy that I've seen used is starting on the medium tyres, getting them out of the way, using them in traffic. That's usually the best thing to do on these types of races, and then shifting to the soft tyres for the rest of the race, and that's at about lap 6 or 7 so that you get the best out of those soft tyres and you can utilise them. You do want to really manage your tyre wear in this race. That will help you throughout the race and allow you to catch up towards the end. Now I just want to note, I was in a lobby with some of those fastest drivers, and one of them was the world record holder and one of them was Lewis Burton that we just saw, but my race got ruined as this driver here lost control around the corner there. Now I just want to have a quick look at my best time because that's what allowed me to get into that kind of lobby. It was a 129.190, which is in the top 300 at the moment. I think it will probably stay there for a few days at least, but as we go around that first corner, obviously probably losing just a touch of time on there. I think I'm getting a bit more used to that corner. Definitely getting a bit more used to the bus stop, but it is in my opinion, it's a horrible corner. It's very difficult to get right. It's very difficult to get right consistently. It's really, really challenging, in fact. But as we go around here, I find that this corner is not too bad, but again, getting it right is quite difficult. You really want to get quite close to the inside corner. I'm really too far wide as we go into it there, and that means that I'm losing probably a couple of tenths as I didn't hit the apex. Coming up the hill though, as I was saying earlier, you really want to short shift. You don't want to stay in third gear too long, or at least put the power down in third gear, because you'll lose the back end of the car. And as we go, this corner's fine, this one's not too bad, but the one coming up after it again is really quite challenging, because you have the sort of little uphill part of it and then it flattens out, and if you put the power down too early in too low a gear, you'll lose the back of the car on that corner as well. Now that one's fine, just a little lift, and the final corner can be a bit challenging. Again, if you do put the power down too early, you can hit the wall there, and that is occasionally a bit of a spot to pick up a penalty, and that's a 129.190. Now I just want to talk about a few places where you're more likely to pick up a penalty than others, and that's on the first corner on the exit here. If you run too far off of the curb, you've got a little bit of leniency on the edge of that curb, but otherwise you can pick up a penalty really easily by going too far off the exit there. Then coming up to the chicane, you can really cut the first part. I mean, I don't think there's any worry of penalties there, but that second part on the chicane and the last part on the chicane, you don't want to go too far onto the grass and go too far away from that curb. The first part of that chicane is really quite a harsh penalty. You can get a second penalty for that. Going over the edge on the exit there, as I just shown you, that's a potential spot as well, and also the exit here, if you run onto the grass, you can get a penalty there. Again, I think they're really harsh penalties because you're already losing time by going on the grass, so it's like what's the point in giving a penalty when you've already lost time? Here, if you cut over that white line, you can pick up another one. And going into the next corner, the next one's not too bad, but it is possible to pick up a penalty on the exit of the corner if you run over the white line too far, probably by going over the curb there. If you all tyres leave that curb, you'll pick up a penalty there. And just on the exit here, if you cross over the yellow line, you'll pick up a penalty by going too far over, and that does happen if you put the power down too early and lose the back end. Here, if you go over the curb too much, and here if you hit the wall on the exit. And that's about it. Hopefully that gives you a good idea of what to do for this race. Thank you for watching. Pigeon out.